Hey guys, this is Chaz. This is the DJ and Chaz and DJ. Chaz and the DJ. My name is Chaz. DJ J is not here, so he wasn't spinning the tunes. I don't know where he is. If he comes back, I'll let you know. Okay, so we will start with my recap of the weekly picks with my twins on Thursday when I did the video. So if you can see, me and Aiden actually got 3 out of 5. Hunter got 2 out of 5. He didn't start too good, but Green Bay and Chargers helped him out. Um, we'll we'll get into the picks right now. Let's do some winners and losers. Let's get out of that screen and go to this screen. Okay, so start with the Giants. Let's talk about this game here. So, not a horrible game. It should have been a win, but I'm not as disappointed with the play. We played as hard as we could. We had a few drop balls. You know what? 61-yard field goal in their house. I'm not going to kibitz about it. We need one of the next two wins, so I'm going to leave it at that. It wasn't a bad loss. You know, they'll learn from this, and I feel we should win this next game. Period. So let's see. Jets, Thursday night. I honestly thought that they were going to win. They were home, and I know Jacksonville's good, but I really thought that Jacksonville was, New York had a shot. I really thought Mike White. I mean, not Mike White. Zach Wilson. I really thought Zach could do something. I was completely off on that. I'm not surprised anymore. We'll get into Mike White in a little bit. Other games that were interesting. Okay, Buffalo destroyed Chicago. No shock there. Baltimore beat Atlanta. Baltimore actually Huntley got his first win. That's good. Good for him. New Orleans beat Cleveland. So that's a bit of a surprise given that Deshaun Watson supposed to be one of the top 6 quarterbacks. In this league. At home, he lost to a New Orleans team that really doesn't have much of an offense. So, Carolina beating Detroit. That shocked more than a few people, including me. Carolina, they've been up and down with Darnold since they've got rid of the guy that went to the Rams, Baker. So it's hard to pick Carolina and Detroit. They've been tough. They've been tough every week. They played Giants tough. So, but you know what? I guess Carolina's a hit and miss team. That's the team you got to watch. To beat your team in the next. New England losing Cincinnati. A lot closer than I expected. Cincinnati, I thought was there was tough, but it was cold. There's no doubt it was cold in New England. So that's not that much of a shock. Kansas City beating Seattle by 2 touchdowns. You know what? Kansas City's got to take care of their business. Especially with Buffalo. It's 1-2. They got to take care of business every week. Houston beating Tennessee. I forgot that Tannehill was out. That was I was so distracted last week between I guess getting this first podcast on and Christmas and yada yada yada. I completely forgot Tannehill was out for the year, and Houston took advantage of that. I looked Houston up. I didn't realize they've been in every game like within 5 or 6 points for a lot of their games. So they're for a 2-12 team, or now it's probably 3-12. They're really not that bad, and they're still going to get like a top 5 pick now because they're 3-12. San Francisco taking care of the Commanders, no surprise. That's gonna, like I said last week, I really think San Francisco's in the NFC final. They're showing it, beating Washington 37-20. This game, okay. Now Dallas fans, you're gonna probably get on me. I think that was a soft win. And what I mean by soft, you gave up points to Philly, who had a backup quarterback who's good, but threw 2 interceptions and they gave up a fumble. You I talked to a couple Dallas family members that at Christmas. They kind of agreed. It Dallas didn't play well. They got the win. They're happy they got the win. You're lucky you got the win, in my opinion, because Dak, to start, did not have his best game until after he threw that interception. And by the numbers, from whatever a lot of people said on TV, he actually had his best statistical game of his career. That being the case, you should have won that game. So, I know a couple Dallas fans at work were a little annoyed when I said soft, but you know what? I'm gonna stick with what I said. I think that was a soft win. They need to play better, and if they're going to be facing Tampa Bay or Carolina in the first round, you just can't, you know, rein it in. You have to play to your potential, and for whatever reason, they barely cut it. Okay, Vegas and Pittsburgh. That was a tight one. The 8:15 game on Christmas Eve that had a lot of emotions in it. And I'll get to that in a little bit. The Pittsburgh Vegas game was a tight one. I didn't see it. I forgot. I was busy doing something else. There's more important things on Christmas Eve than a football game that I'm just not as interested in. But from what I saw with the highlights, that was a really good game. Back and forth. Pittsburgh. The fans I know are proud of that team and what they did on that night. All right, Sunday, Christmas Day, total shocker for me. I really thought Aaron Rodgers was done. I thought he was going to pack in 3 games and maybe he'd go somewhere else or actually retire. Comes back, and it's not even on him. Packers fans, you didn't win that game. Miami lost that game. 3 interceptions. Tua gets hurt. He now is in concussion protocol. I think now Miami's done. My coworker today, very glum coming in this morning. He didn't want. I could see he didn't want to talk about Miami. And time to pack it in and think about next year. You got 2 more games, and I honestly don't think you're gonna make the playoffs. That's just my opinion. 4:30 game on Christmas Day. Denver at Los Angeles. Talk about the laugher game of the week. This is the game we all sat down to watch after dinner, and I couldn't believe how Baker Mayfield was ripping. Obviously, we know today. We'll get to that too, but that was absolutely the laugh of the game. That game deserved to be on Nickelodeon. I can only imagine what Nickelodeon had with all the slime flying up, all the different, Christmas packages. I know last week they had something with Josh Allen with his, when they did the Nickelodeon stuff on his back and all the Bills and the Miami game. This was a laugher game, and it should have been SpongeBob SquarePants versus anybody else. I mean, that's what it should have been. So, okay. Next, the night game on Christmas, Arizona losing in overtime to Tampa Bay. They talk about giving Tom Brady life. This game gave Tom Brady life. Trace McSorley. He's a decent quarterback. This is first start in 8 games he's played in his 3 or 4 year career. Good, and he tried. It unfortunately wasn't enough. Monday night, Los Angeles Chargers completely obliterate Indianapolis Colts 20-3. I know I said last week Jeff Saturday shouldn't be fired. He's looking. I think he's looking to leave. I don't think he wants to be on this team anymore. You got Nick Foles now quarterbacking your team because Matt Ryan's either hurt or inept. I'm not sure which. But Los Angeles, they're showing some fight, and they might be something. I don't know. I mean, they're going to be so low in the first round. Like they're going to be going somewhere. I don't know if they can win in going somewhere in the first round, but we'll see. Anything's possible. All right, that's winners and losers for 16. Not as weird as last week. So, all right. So I have this now. I gotta take this out. All right, there we go. Why isn't this showing? Nope, wrong one. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So sorry for that delay. I apologize, guys. Franco Harris, legendary Steeler, who was being honored for the Immaculate Reception 50 years today on Saturday. And it was, I'm very sad about this, and I know Pittsburgh Steeler Nation, you're very sad. Franco Harris died on Saturday, on December 24th, at the age of 72. Commissioner Goodell did say, "We are shocked and saddened to learn of this unexpected passing of Franco Harris. He meant so much to the Steelers fans as the Hall of Fame running back who helped form the nucleus of the team's dynasty of the 1970s. But he was much more. He was a gentle soul who touched so many in the Pittsburgh community and throughout the entire NFL. Franco changed the way people saw it of the Steelers, of Pittsburgh, and of the NFL." And Goodell's right. I mean, he said all his words right. I mean, and then Bonnie Bernstein, that's a great tweet. Wait, no. Why is the NFL cutting to break during the Franco Harris? It's like, well, I don't know why they cut it. They cut it, but these TV people, who knows? So but like Steelers Nation, you have my heart. I feel bad. This is not what you all wanted. Nancy, Jay, if you're listening, who else is Steeler fans? Walt, you got my heart. I kind of probably saw when I clicked it. Nope, my video went away. There we go. Nope, we don't want that. Let's get out. All right. So, Mike White was named Jets starting quarterback against Seattle. And this is what Saleh said. "That's just a speculation. I still believe there's a future for Zach in New York and for the New York Jets." I'm sorry. I don't believe that Saleh thinks that. He has to say, okay, that he has to say that he's on the come. He's coming back. just to say Mike White's my guy, and that's it. And then go into next year, and guess what? You're probably gonna get Baker Mayfield. Okay, Baker's playing so good, he's gonna be a New York Jet next year. I'm gonna say it here. That's a hot take. Whether that's true or not, that comes to fruition or not, I think that's gonna happen. Mike White is probably gonna be a New York Jet. Okay, so then I got this tweet. So apparently, Mac Jones. Now y'all know who Mac Jones is, quarterback for the New England Patriots. Apparently, he did a dirty play, and now is being investigated for being a dirty player, and could get fined, could get suspended. There's a video on YouTube. You just gotta look up Mac Jones and dirty play. I think the last play I saw, which they videoed it, he kind of, when he went into a slide, he stuck his foot up and hit one of the guys in the groin. Not cool. That not cool when you're you're the guy. 1 second. What did my buddy say? Oh, I'm sick as a dog again. Okay. All right. So so let's put it this way. I'm not saying that, you know, Mac Jones should or should not be uh let go, or whatever. Belichick's got to figure this out. He should know not to have these kind of cheaters on his team. I mean, Mac Jones, and I never thought he was a cheater, but apparently four incidents in 2 years, and there was a video of it. So I just that's there's no place in football for that. I mean, we saw what happened in Pittsburgh with it wasn't obviously well, it was kind of illegal. A guy took his helmet off, and who was it? The quarterback of the Steelers took his helmet off and hit the Cleveland Brown guy. Names are away from me now. So, but you know who I'm talking about. He was a backup quarterback for Pittsburgh, and one probably the face of the Cleveland Browns at the time, a couple years back. There's no place for this. So, I'll go into this a little bit. Jay, who he just told me he's sick, so he can't really do it. So John Cena is returning on SmackDown this Friday. Apparently, it's it's a big match for him because he wrestles 20 years in a row now, something like that. And he's wrestling with Kevin Owens against Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. I'm not a big fan of the Bloodline. I've told this to Jay. Roman Reigns, who I know many women love, many guys want to be like. He's been champion for 2 years, from what I understand, and I know a lot of this is fixed or written, and I get it. That's wrestling. I just don't like the way it's going. I'm not a fan of long reigns for championships. You can't tell me he's been the most popular guy for 2 years, and apparently this MSOOY is male superstar of the year. He's been it twice in a row, and I'm sorry, there's other guys who should be male superstars. They're high flyers. The maybe the tag teams, whoever's good. I'm not a fan of keeping one guy on top for so long. So, and that goes for anybody, guy, diva, there's just no point, in my opinion. Now, I am curious, is he mentioned this to Royal Rumble 2023 possible returns. We're going to probably get into that next week, I hope. I'm curious what old guys are coming back, what actors, or is the YouTuber that wrestled coming back, is Bad Bunny coming back? And I'll give Bad Bunny his due. And I don't know if anybody listening knows who Bad Bunny is. Because if you're my age, a little bit younger or a lot older, and you're watching, you don't know what Bad Bunny is, other than Bunny that's bad. So Bad Bunny's a rapper. He's a Latino rapper. He does mostly Latino music. He does do some English crossover. I mean, not a big fan, but I do listen, and he does do some good dance songs, especially with Jennifer Lopez and a few other people. But he's got wrestling skills that I've never seen on a non-wrestler before. Like David Arquette, and won the championship with WCW. They gave that to him because he was David Arquette. That's my opinion. And I'm sure there's other wrestling guys that might agree with me. Maybe there's other ones that don't. But Arquette was never a wrestling guy. This Logan Paul, he's another one. He's a YouTuber. He's not bad. He's got skills. He's actually trained. And there's video of him training, Do I think he's a jack? Yes. Personally, I think the guy is a lowlife. But, and that's only because of the videos I've seen. But as an athlete and an entertainment athlete, he's got his skills. And I'll give him that. All right, so that's all I know on wrestling right now. Like I said, I got to start watching again. That's my bad. Got a little bit more right now. So let's Yankee talk. Judge, Jay was going to talk about his feelings on Judge, but I'm sure it was the same as mine from last week for the most part. I did see the Judge announcement that provided, and it was really nice to see Derek Jeter there. It was nice to see Willie there, all the previous captains that are still alive. It was curious when they did the interviews, and then maybe if you guys want to go back, if you haven't seen it, go back, look up the interviews with when Judge was signed, and it was all back and forth with Michael Kay and Meredith, and Jack Curry and the other guy, name is again gone, but Jack Curry and the other guy interviewed Derek, and his interview was very, and maybe I'm reading into this too much, so forgive me if I'm overthinking. I think Derek's going to be in the office, front office. I don't think he's going to want to be manager. I don't think he's going to want to coach. But there's something there's things that he said in his interview that just make me think he's not leaving. He maybe he'll probably be at spring training. That I have no doubt. I'm telling you right now that he's left Miami, he's left. Tino left. Jorge left. They're all not there anymore, as far as I know. They're coming back to the Yankees. They need to be in Yankee land, if you know what I mean. They need to be, especially with these kids coming up. You got Volpe coming up. You got Peraza coming up. You got Dominguez coming up, and the catcher who I'm going to get to. These winning personalities need to be in Yankee world. When they get to Tampa, train these, get that in their mindset. Well, this is what you need to do. I already heard Volpe got a call. I heard it was a thing on today. Volpe got a call from Cashman saying, you know what, you might have a job if you step it up. That really surprised me. I didn't think Cashman would do that because Michael Kay talked to his father. His father basically said he's taking a month off. He's going to rest his body and retool, regroup. And then he got the phone call. Next day, 5:30 in the morning, the kid leaves. Dad calls him and says, Anthony, where are you going? And he's like, Cash called me. I'm going to the gym. So I'm happy that this kid's got this mentality. I talked about him last week. I think this kid's special. He's going to be special. I really thought, we're going to have a couple special guys come up, including the catcher that I'm going to talk about. We might have another generation of 4 to 5 winning seasons of where we win the World Series in the next 10 years with these guys. I'm praying to God, praying to every baseball entity that this is what's coming down the road. Rodon, great. That's a great pickup. I think he's a great number 2. We have a great rotation. My issue is Montas, but if Montas succeeds, he'll be fine. He'll be a great 5 because he's really more like a 3 or 4. So if he succeeds, he'll be a great 5. If he doesn't, there's 3 or 4 kids knocking on the door that are pretty good. Davy Cruz, there's at least a couple. Davy Cruz is definitely the guy who of course the only way I remember is he's the guy Herman, the guy who beat his wife. Yeah. Domingo Herman or Davy Cruz. They were okay, they weren't great. You put another year under their belt, that I think they could be the 5. So Rizzo, it's a no-brainer. We needed that lefty. We need more lefties in our lineup. We can't go back to 2019, 2020, 2021 where we just had righties and our only lefty was Brett Gardner. We can't do that. We have a short porch for a reason. They will never say it, but we have a short porch for a reason, for the lefties. Babe Ruth was a lefty. Lou Gehrig was a lefty. Yes, Mickey Mantle was switch. I mean, and Giambi benefited. I mean, Tino benefited. Matsui benefited. Guys benefit. Hell, Jacoby Ellsbury, when he played, benefited. You need that lefty in this lineup, period. This should be a no-brainer forever unless they get a new stadium and then they reconfigure. But now that you got this, you need lefties in your lineup, period. All right, who's next? I don't really know. I mean, I think honestly, I want trades. They're probably not going to happen. You're not going to see the trades of Torres or Donaldson unless you just dump the salaries. Next is probably going to be bullpen because obviously we're not bringing back Aroldis Chapman. It's going to be a bunch of kids, So we'll get to that in a couple weeks. Once everything starts to speed up closer to baseball season. All right, let's hide this and go to Mr. Correa. So I wanted to come on Wednesday when this first went down, and I held off and I didn't do it on Thursday. And then all the other stuff started happening. Now, oh wait, he's got a leg issue. Maybe this is what San Francisco dropped him in the first place. I think, and from what I've read, and I've read a little bit about this, Correa's leg issues, he's missed an average of 14 games per year. An average. So 162 minus 14, that's 148. So if he plays 148 games a year, there's not many guys that are playing more than him, especially nowadays. So that's not bad. I think the Mets would take that in a heartbeat. So I don't think it's in limbo. I think it's just gonna. It's more of a media darling that he's got a leg issue. What are we gonna do? We're gonna And I saw a blurb that he's not gonna restructure his contract. I don't think he has to. They'll put in words. They'll put in verbiage. They'll figure it out. This is what lawyers do. He'll get his money and he'll get on the field and he'll be one of the best third basemen next to David Wright that they've ever had. Period. All right. Another one. So Mets current rotation. That was against the rest of the league. That was one of Jay's things he wanted to talk about. I think 1A and 1B are really good. Probably best 1-2 in the league. I can't come up with not even my guy. Not even my guys with Cole and Rodon. Cole and Rodon are not Scherzer and Verlander. They're not. So there's no other two I can even think of that makes it makes it close. So now 3, 4, and 5. Senga, what is it? He's an unknown. He's your 3, Mets fans, but he's an unknown. You might get 18 and 3. You also might get 5 and 15. I mean, it really depends on how he pitches and how he adjusts to America, the American way of playing baseball. Remember, look what happened to Matsui. He was used to 6. Hideki Matsui was used to, playing every 6 days. He might be too. That's the problem with pitchers from Japan. They're used to 6-day rotations. We have 5. We're not going to 6 unless the Mets go to a buffer from the bullpen every other day, every other week. I don't know if they'll do that. I mean, now I know that's the way of the world now with Tampa Bay figuring that out and getting their championship. We're getting close anyway. The other one is Uncle Steve, and I know I know some of you don't call him Uncle Steve. But I know a lot of people that do. A lot of Mets fans I know do. Ever gonna stop buying up planet Earth? You know what? If he's got the money, let him. I don't have an issue with it. I've never had an issue especially as a Yankee fan. If you want to be the best, you got to buy the best. You also got to draft the best. I mean, that it goes both ways. And let's look at the Mets drafting. They haven't done very well at that, have they? The Yankees have a better, minor league system than the Mets do. And the Mets they're pretty low. They have a couple good, solid prospects, but your top 30 is not good. Your top 30, what I think you got a C average with Baseball America. So I don't have a problem with it. I don't see how other people do or don't. Or don't. They have, I know how owners don't. Owners, you know what? And I'm going to say this, and I know other people have said this, whether it be TV analysts or other friends of mine that I know. There needs to be a bottom, like the lowest point you can go for your payroll to go. And I'll just throw out a number: 90 million. Your payroll for a Major League Baseball team in 2023 should be $90 million minimum. And I bet you there's at least 3 or 4 that fall under that. So that's the problem. That's more the problem than Steve Cohen buying 13 years at 350 or 10 years at 500. Whatever the number is. The bottom is the problem, not the top. And he'll pay the taxes, and everybody will get their fair share. But he's not the problem. The problem is the thought process of the bottom, and that needs to change. All right, that's my pulpit on that. I'm gonna another sad note. Not sure if anybody listens to the Michael K show. And he actually might have called into WFAN as well, but he's better known to Michael K listeners as Harry from Inglewood Cliffs. If you know Harry, if you've heard Harry, and I have, and he's him like the jet fan from Staten Island. I can't remember his name, but I'm sure I'll remember it tonight. But Harry Jack McKinnon unfortunately passed away on Friday, and weirdly enough, his last time on the Michael K show was, if I'm correct, the last day that Don and Don. Oh my God! Wow, I really got to check it. Don and his partner, not Michael K. Michael K. was off. Don and Peter. Woo-hoo. Yeah, Peter Rosenberg. Yeah, Don and Peter Rosenberg had him on. He was a caller about less than a week ago, and he said he wasn't feeling good, but he'd fight through it. The audio and video is actually online. It's on Twitter. If you go on Michael K's the TMKS on Twitter, but and there's pictures of the guy. There's pictures of him with Michael and the crew. And he was a beloved man, and for his family, I send my condolences. It's not, I can't, he was a really good guy and a really good listen when I'm driving home or I'm at home just watching TV. So, okay, one more baseball thing that just came down the pike today. Former Yankee Nathan Eovaldi used to be on the Boston Red Sox, if I'm correct, last year. Now a Texas Ranger. So they're really bolstering that team down there in Texas. With DeGrom and Eovaldi now, it's a bunch of has-beens from New York apparently. So I don't know. Could they do something? I mean, they're in the same division as Houston. Good luck. They got some kids. Houston does. So I don't. See Texas as opponent. We'll see. So we got a top 5 challenge I was gonna do with Jay. These New York, so Baseball America actually put out all the new prospects, and they did the top 5 of actually probably the top 30, but these were the top 5. If I can find it, I probably can't. Volpe's number 1. I know that. I'll probably go back to this next week because, like I said, I wanted to get Jay on with this. So, all right, a few more things before we go. So, I did want to say happy birthday. I do have 3 friends that if they listen, they'll hear me. Got a guy I know from Eatontown from way back when, Nicholas DeVito. I'm sorry, not Eatontown. He was Acme coworker. I apologize, Nick. Happy birthday, Nick. Madeline Cardona. We worked together at Ingredient, National Starch Ingredient, and I miss her dearly. She was one of my better friends there. She was a really good person to work with. Madeline, happy birthday. And Gary Arnold, he's my Eatontown friend. Gary, happy birthday. Okay, and then, so I got to go to my phone. We're going to do a little year in review since it is the last. All right, I'm going to go to my notes. So what has happened over the last year? There's only a few different things, I'm sure there's a lot more I could go over, but that would just take way too long. Okay, so 2022 year in a review. Tom and Giselle get divorced. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are barely hanging on to a playoff spot in the NFC South. Team is still under 500. I made that up. I didn't make it up, but I put that in because, if Tom didn't come back, he'd probably still be married, and it'd be a whole new different dynamic of football that we'd be talking about. But you know what? He did himself a disservice. So it is what it is. Comment. DeGrom is not a has-been. My fiance said. All right. Anyway, he might be a has-been, honey. Just to let you know, he will be. The way he's playing, I don't think he's going to get 10 to 15 wins for the rest of his career. But that's just me. All right. What happened this year? We had our MLB champion in 2022 was the Houston Astros, unfortunately, but it is what it is. The Los Angeles Rams were the NFL champion. The Golden State Warriors were the NBA champion. I think I got this right because I'm not a big NHL guy, but the Colorado Avalanche were the NHL champion, but I could be wrong on that. So I did not check up on that one. And Argentina winning the World Cup a couple weeks ago. That was like a world thing. Like everybody all over the world. I heard Beth tell me she was down in Perth Amboy and they were coming out of the store and all of a sudden horns are beeping everywhere and Viva Argentina and all that. So yeah, it was everywhere. So obviously we all know that Queen Elizabeth died and then King Charles assumed leadership. And now with the royal, family kind of splitting, you got one brother here in America, you got another brother in trying to, save face in England. And the coronation's next year for both King Charles and his wife. So who will be as my fiance told me, the Queen consort, if I'm correct. That was the case. So out of all of the weddings and that happened this year, I see Brittany got married, and I was strange when I saw that. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, go figure, reunited, and it still feels so good. They got married, they're together, go figure, and it still lasted. J Lo after the breakup with A-Rod, Ben Affleck, who did he date? I mean, multiple people in between him and J Lo and Jennifer Gardner. So that's that. Weirdest court case of the year. I think we all know what that one is. Depp versus Heard. Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. I call it the People's Court gone wild. I mean that was the craziest, nuttiest, people on the stand. I mean, these are what they said on the stand and what we were able to see. Absolutely insane. Another one. So we got a breakout star. A breakout a TV show that I'm not sure y'all seen. If you have, that's great. If not, no big deal. Abbott Elementary has been called the breakout TV show of 2022. Abbott Elementary is about a Philadelphia school based on and it's they talk about the teachers and the classroom and the principal and the kids. It's a really interesting show. So I mean, it's not one of my favorites, but it's definitely up there. Now this I want to see. I think it's on Netflix or Amazon, something like that. Jenna Ortega as Wednesday Adams, and the show is called Wednesday, or movie. I'm curious to see what that's about. That looks interesting. And I referenced this guy before in the wrestling segment. Bad Bunny. If you don't know him, get to know him. He's going to be very common. He's going to become very popular. He actually was this year's Apple Music Artist of 2022, and like I said, I have some of his music, so I think it's good. I have another comment. What's this? Start today, LFGM. Okay. So what else we got? We got a few more. Okay, so actually, last one. There was a lot of famous deaths that happened, and I'm just gonna go through a few that actually I don't want to say affected me per se, but it was a shocker to me. Kirstie Alley passing away recently. Bob Saget, Gilbert Gottfried I didn't know he was ill. Olivia Newton-John, Sidney Poitier, Jerry Lee Lewis, John Aniston, Nichelle Nichols. If you don't know who Nichelle Nichols is, you know her as Uhura from Star Trek, the original one from the TV show. So Robbie Coltrane, Ray Liotta. Another name you might not know because he was a not so known actor, but he was in a show recently, and the show is actually hurt now because of it, because he was a really good actor, a really good big character in that show. Leslie Jordan. He was on the Cat Show with Mayim Bialik. Like I said, Ray Liotta, Paul Sorvino. We had a lot of good fellas that passed away this year. Ray Liotta, Paul Sorvino, James Caan, Bob McGrath. You may not know the name, you know the face. You've seen him on Sesame Street. People my age, younger, and definitely older know who Bob McGrath is. He died this year too. Madeleine Albright, our former Secretary of State under one of the presidents. Don't quote me. Taylor Hawkins, that hurt. I've known of Taylor for a long time, going all the way back to Nirvana days when he actually was at the end of Nirvana. Then he was a drummer for Alanis Morissette before he went on to Foo Fighters. That is a big loss in the music industry. Big loss. Another big loss in the music industry also, and one of my personal favorites, Meatloaf. I know a lot of people don't know Meatloaf, but if you don't, take a look and listen to his music. He had some really good hits in the late 80s, early 90s. He had some even better hits in the 70s, and he was in at least one movie that I'm aware of. It's one of my favorite movies, and we'll do movie things down the road. But one of my favorites, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Tim Curry and Susan Sarandon. If you don't know it, if you're into horror comedy, this is up your alley. But Meatloaf is a small role in this movie, and he's such a good role. And he passed away. Another musician, older, Coolio. Obviously, we know him with Gangsta's Paradise. That was his hit that we all knew from Dangerous Minds. Um, Twitch. Now, I know his passing was sudden and not expected, but it hurt a lot of people. I know a lot of people have seen Ellen's um, tribute to him and other people. That was a shocker. Christine McVie. Um, you're gonna have to forgive me. I forgot her group that she was in, but I know a lot of my generation, a little bit higher, in their late 40s, early 50s, know Christine McVie, and I know that's a big one. Naomi Judd, obviously the Judd mother, Ashley and Winona Judd's mother passed away. Bernard Shaw, if you know CNN from the early days of CNN, that's Bernard Shaw. Got a few more. Aaron Carter, the brother of Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys. Aaron Carter had his own issues growing up after his music career kind of went a little to the side. Irene Cara, we all know her from Fame. Loretta Lynn, the songstress of country back in the 50s and 60s. The man, the legend. The last two are legends in their own world, in our world. Vince Scully, sad passing. One of the first commentators I grew up listening to. And you got Tim McCarver and Ralph Kiner and Joe and Jack Buck, but Vince Scully is right up there, if not on top. I know there's others before and there's others after, but Vince Scully, he's almost on his own tier. And last but not least, the 11-time champion in the NBA. There's only one. His name is Bill Russell. He passed, and that he did a lot for the game of basketball. All right, so I don't have any power rankings for this week. I decided not to get them, but I do know that the Bills are now third. I think I saw the Chiefs were first. I'm not thrilled with it, but I get it. The Bills haven't showed enough strength, and the Niners are moving up, and that's good. They should be moving up. Eagles are 2, and I think Niners are like 4. So the top 5 or 6 are right where they're supposed to be. I even saw Giants at 10, and that's shocking because you think about it. With the 7 teams per in the playoffs, that's 14 teams. Okay, 14 teams, and the Giants are 10, which means they're like 4 teams higher. It's a little it's new to me because it hasn't happened in a while. Okay, it's been a long time, like Eli Manning days. Going back to the mid 2000 teens when we were good at being top 10 of anything. So I'm happy about that. We'll see what goes on from there. I am, I didn't put this in here, so let me just hide this. I didn't put this in. I am to all my pool host people, my poolhost.com people, my football pool. The football pool, the football is coming to an end soon. We, so the top 4 players are, going to get their win, whoever gets it. And 2 more things come out, and they're going to be coming out within the next week or 2. Number 1 is the playoff pool. And that's where we're going to be picking all the teams of the playoffs, the winners, all the way through from beginning to end. I'll send an email out on that sometime in the next week. Okay, that's that. And for anybody public who's watching, if they want in, I just need contact information. So name, phone number, email address. Don't need your address unless I have to mail you something, like a check or something. So I don't need that. So, but it's name, number, and email address. That's all I need. And you're going to email that to, and I'll say it here, ChazRoyalty@gmail.com. ChazZroyalt@gmail.com. So that's that. And I almost forgot. So I know a lot of everybody knows that I run Super Bowl boxes. They're going to come back. I'm definitely going to do them starting probably this beginning of week 18. I know some people already started doing it. So I'm going to do mine. Start a week, beginning of week 18, 5s, 10s, and 20s. That's what I do. All right. So, just want to say to everybody who doesn't watch on Thursday, Happy New Year. See everybody in the new year. The Tuesday that is next year is the 3rd. So January 3rd, I will set up for the next video. I am sorry for apologies to people who came on at 8 o'clock. I was having a little technical issues. Apparently, I deleted something. It is what it is. I got it at 8:25. So, but the football pick show on Thursday, I will set up for either 8:15 or 8:25. I want to make sure everybody's done their picks. So that will be on Thursday at 8:15. If there's anybody that wants to get in, if DJJ can't do it because he's still sick, let me know. I know I've talked to guys at work. I've talked to guys, at bowling. Well, maybe not bowling on the last few weeks, but if anybody wants on, they want to do picks, rank against me and whoever else, we could do that. My kids aren't on this week, okay, so I'll save their records for another time. But my kids, so we only got 2 weeks left anyway. So, like I said, this is the last show of the year of 2022. Peace and love to everybody. I will talk to everybody soon. Have a good night, guys. Bye.